No more fake news. With the motto "No more fake news," Ethiopian and Eritrean American Taskforce in Atlanta, along with various community groups in the metropolitan Atlanta area, convened for a peaceful protest at the CNN headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia on Wednesday, December 1st from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The protest was 1. To denounce CNN and other corporate media outlets that are providing continuous false news and misleading false reports on Ethiopia. And 2. To express their opposition and deep resentment to the misguided administration of President Biden, who took a wrongful stand against Ethiopia in support of the convicted terrorist TPLF. The protest was designed to pinpoint and denounce the fake news of CNN on Ethiopia and Eritrea, as well as to plead with President Biden's administration to correct its wrongdoing and stand by the Ethiopian people. Members representing the Ethiopian Eritrean American Taskforce in Atlanta, Dr. Berhe Habte Georgis and Ms. Sahaye Iyasu, Mrs. Fodosa Yusuf, Dr. Fasil Cheranet, and Yus Mandi Luku delivered strong speeches of bitterness against CNN's false news on Ethiopia and Eritrea and pleaded to President Biden's administration to correct the stand it took against Ethiopia. Representatives of various Black communities and other minority groups also delivered speeches of solidarity, support, and encouragement. Representatives of various Black communities and other minority groups also delivered speeches of solidarity, support, and encouragement. The speakers were Reverend Branson Elliott Woods, Deputy Pastor and youth of the Ebenezer Baptist Church, Mr. Tunde Osazua, representative of the Black Alliance for Peace, and Mr. Esteban Hernandez, a representative of the Answer Coalition in Atlanta. The rally was organized by the Atlanta-based Ethiopian and Eritrean American Task Force in collaboration with Ethiopian and Eritrean youth groups living in the same city.
ለክብሬ ሰባድረው አልፎ ሲደፉሽ ባህርሽን ተሻግረው የጀግኖች አገር የአዳም እግር አሻራ ፈለገ ጊዮን ያንቺ ስም ሲጠራ በሰማይ ላይ ባንዲራሽን አይቶ ስሜ ሲጠራ ማን ዝም ይላል ሰምቶ በሰማይ ላይ ባንዲራሽን አይቶ ኢትዮጵያ ሲባል ማን ዝም ይላል ሰምቶ የነካኝ ሲቃጠል ሳይወሰን ዝናሽ በቅርሶችሽ ድርሳን በአድባራት ታሪኩ ነቢይ አይተው ከሩቅ እያሉልሽ በመጻፍ ኢትዮጵያን አትንኩ በሰማዩ ላይ ቢታይ ቀለም የእሷ ነው እንጂ ሌላ አይደለም የመጪው ዘመን ፊት ናት መሪ ዛሬ ዓለም ቢላት ኋላ ቀሪ ተውኝ ውጣልኝ ልጥራ ደጋግሜ ኢትዮጵያ ማለት ለእኔ አይደል ሆይ ስሜ ቢጎል እንጀራው ከመሶቡ ላይ እናት በሌላ ይቀየራል ወይ ይዣላ ነሳም እጄን ከቀሚሷ እናት እኮ ናት ተስፋ አንቆርጥም በሷ የሷን ውለታ ከፍሎ ሳይጨርሰው ኢትዮጵያ ሲባል አብሮ አይልም ወይ ሰው ኢትዮጵያ ኢትዮጵያ ሀገሬ ሀገሬ ኢትዮጵያ ኢትዮጵያ ሀገሬ ሀገሬ ባንቺ አይደል ወይ ክብሬ በሰሜን በደቡብ በምስራቅ በምዕራብ ላይ ሙሉ ይሁን ያንቺ ሲሳይ በሰሜን በደቡብ በምስራቅ በምዕራብ ላይ ሙሉ ይሁን ያንቺ ሲሳይ ይራቅ ይራቅ ችግር ከመጣሽ ሞሎ ሞሎ ይሁን ሲሳይሽ ይራቅ ይራቅ ችግር ከመጣሽ ሞሎ ሞሎ ይሁን ሲሳይሽ ይራቅ ይራቅ ናየ ሞሎ ሞሎ ሞሎ
Good morning. It is a good morning because we stand together as one. We stand together as one against false narratives. We stand together as one against the foolishness. We stand together as one because we are Ethiopia. We are Eritrea. We are Africa. We stand together on the power that God is with us. Whether you're Muslim, whether you're Christian, God is with us in our struggle. I stand with you as you have stood with us, African Americans, last summer when there was a cop with his knee in the neck of George Floyd. You stood with us. We stand with you. This is powerful. It's powerful to know that you have strength, you have courage, you have the audacity to stand in the face of power and demand the correct narrative be presented. We all know about false narratives. They've lied to us over and over again, and we have taken it. But now is the time. Now is the time, my brothers and sisters over across the street. Now is the time, my Africans all over the world coming together and wrap our arms around our Ethiopia, the only uncolonized country on our continent. is power in that. My words don't have to be long, because I pride myself in being brief, brilliant, and being out. But I need to let each and every one of you all know, I don't come here just giving this speech, but I'm coming to share because Ethiopia is in my heart. I have personally traveled to Ethiopia about 10 times over the past 10 years. I was in Addis Ababa just 2 months ago. I spent Easter there. I take mission trips there every year. Last year I took about 40 young adults from Atlanta, Georgia. Why did I take them over there? I needed African Americans to see that Ethiopia is not how the television has told it to be. I've been doing the work of correcting the narrative for years. They needed to experience the beauty of our people, the beauty of the fellowship, the beauty of the unity, because that's just who we are. So as we rally today peacefully, as we stand and protest against the false narrative against us, remember, never let anyone or anything go against your integrity. They look at you, they look at us as we're just a bunch of wild heathens. We are dignified. We are smart. We are brilliant. We are beautiful. We are a peaceful people. And we will only know if you believe it by raising your fist and saying, no more, no more. We need more peace. No, we got to do this together. We need more peace. We need more joy. We need more unity. We need more people to stand with us today. We need more people to tell the right story. We need more people to have a heart with me today. As I close, this is me speaking. There was a Negro anthem called Lift Every Voice and Sing, and I'm going to read to you some words of encouragement. As we lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven rings, ring with a harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise, high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of hope that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day has begun. Let us march on. Let us picket on. Let us rally on until victory is won. And we know victory is won because God is with us. God is with us in community. God is with us in this powerful demonstration. Never forget that. Continue to tell the narrative. Make the clear message. The reason folks don't hear you, the message is not clear enough. Make it concise. Make it to the point. And get the job done. It makes no sense what's going on today. It makes no sense for anyone else to put their hands on our Ethiopia. Continue to keep the faith and spread it gently. Why? Because we are Ethiopia. We are Ethiopia. We are Ethiopia. We are Ethiopia. Africa, unite. Keep the faith and spread it gently. God bless you.
Gadaafi dhugaadha kallachi keenya. Kifuufi safuudha kabajni keenya. Gadaa malee faarsiinu gado nu baambullaa hin qabnu mado. Nangalaan jedhu namni osoo hin geenye falaan argatu namni faloon beekne. Na nyaartullee hinna ugonka dhugaa irraa maaltu na dorka. Eessatti kufee namni dhugaaf buune galgalaan toluu namni sobaaf duune. Egaa kudhan obsee kudhan dhoksee kudhan numa gorsee himadinnaananii fuguugitti dabse obsii dangaa darbu qaba harki bokkuu qabe boodees numa qaba natu si baata situ of dadhaba obsuu fi dhoksuu kooda buma seete obsuu fi dhoksuu kooda buma seete ni beekti garaan koosa kana goote sibiilallee sibiilatu qara dhugaan namaas galgala gala hadhaaba cabsaa inni karaa beeku haqatti hin gafuu namni haqqii beeku sangaan usnaan iyyite qacceen beekaarifnaan adatti dawwee.
No more fake news! No more fake news! CNN, shame on you! CNN, shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! No more! No more! No more! Stop supporting a terrorist group! 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 No more! No more! No more! Enough is enough! Enough is enough! Enough is enough! Stop! 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 Enough is enough! No more! No sanctions on Ethiopia! No sanctions on Eritrea! No more! No more! No more intervention in Ethiopia's internal affairs! No more interventions!
Thank you. Yeah. Hey everyone. Hey friends. My name is Tunde with the Black Alliance for Peace. This is beautiful to see. Love to see these expressions of Pan-Africanism, of Africans coming together to show solidarity and support each other. We in the Black Alliance for Peace stand in uncompromising opposition to the US-led imperialist aggression against Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Somalia and the broader Horn. We understand that U.S. intervention, U.S. Interference in African affairs is never a positive development. We understand that, you know, when the U.S. interfered in Libya, when they interfered in Afghanistan and in Iraq, that really just destabilized those countries. And we understand as well that the relative instability in Ethiopia can only be sustained through U.S. support, right? The empty rhetoric from Anthony Blinken, who's the U.S. Secretary of State, is part of the propaganda aspect of the hybrid war that's waged against Ethiopia today. It's important that we see the sanctions, the media disinformation, and arrogant ultimatums by U.S. imperialism for what they are. Those are the desperate machinations of a global power in crisis. Western imperialism is being confronted by people-centered expressions of resistance in Africa and globally. There's the No More movement. There's, the uprisings in Ivory Coast, in Burkina Faso, in Niger against Western imperialism, just in the past couple of weeks, that speak to, this growing element of resistance against the status quo. That's just, trying to prevent Africa from rising up, from united. And I think this is important. And expressions of solidarity from around the world are standing up for the Horn of Africa, including what we're doing today. So while the Black Alliance for Peace is committed to peace, we understand that there can be no peace without justice.
and we'll stand in solidarity with all people and nations who strive to liberate themselves from all forms of neo-colonial oppression. BAP takes a resolute anti-colonial, anti-imperialist position that links the international role of the U.S. empire to the domestic war waged against poor people and working class black people within the United States. We unequivocally support and uplift mutual cooperation, solidarity, and peace amongst all parties and peoples in Ethiopia, Eritrea, and the broader Horn of Africa region. We support African-led, localized conflict resolution that's not tied to advancing imperialism, neocolonialism, or any other nefarious Western agendas. So, no more CNN lies, no more Western intervention, no more neocolonialism. Peace in the Horn of Africa. Down with the TPLF.
በኢትዮጵያና በኤርትራ ጦርነት ሰበብ ተናግለው ከሚኖሩ ስፍራ ዛሬ ሲፋቸው ተገናኝቶ በሰላም ይኑሩ። ቤተሰቦች ተበታትነው ቀሩ። ተነፋፍቀዋል ህዝቦቻችን በጉጉት መኖር ይብቃ ሰቀቀን። ባል ከሚስትና ከልጆቻቸው በምሬት የሚያለብሱት ተለያይተው ወንድም እህቶች ልጆቿንን ያፍሪካ ጦርነት ጸብ ያለፈው ይብቃ። እርግቦች በኢትዮ ኤርትራ ሰማይ ብረሩ የሰላም የፍቅር መዝሙር ናቸው ዘምሩ። ረጋቢት አቢቱ ኤርትራ ሰማይ ብረራ ናይ ሰላም ናይ ፍቅር መዝሙር ዘምራ። ተሽከርከር መኪና ተሽከርከሪ ከአዲስ አበባ አስመራ ሰላም በለሽ ዙሪ። ተዘወረ ማኪና ተዘወሬ ከአዲስ አበባ አስመራ ሰላም በለሽ ዙሪ። በህዝበ ልባችን ሰናይ ዘመን ሊመጣ ዘመን ሰላም በላ ናይ በህዝበ ልብና ሰናይ ዘመን ሊመጣ ዘመን ሰላም በላ።
Good morning, family. Brothers, sisters, friends, and enemies. My name is Mandy, and I, too, am a part of the No More movement. Dr. Martin Luther King once said, "We must accept finite disappointment but never lose infinite hopes." With that being said, let me introduce myself. I came here when I was 2 years old to the United States, so I was practically born and raised here. But unfortunately, I didn't have the chance to go back to Ethiopia. But fortunately, my mother raised me to know where I'm from, where I came from, and to never forget my beautiful culture and history. She is the reason I am standing here in front of you all to stand for our continent Africa, for our countries Ethiopia and Eritrea. As I grew older, I realized the significance of my identity. You have to know where you're from. You have to know your history. So I am a proud Ethiopian, I am a proud Ethio-American, and I am also a proud African. But it has been very hard this past year as a young person who identifies both as an Ethiopian and American. Especially when I am fully aware of all the countries United States has intervened in recent history and the devastation that is left behind. Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, Somalia, Libya. Should I continue? I can't imagine Ethiopia or Eritrea being the next Libya. I love my country too much and I love my Africa too much. We have to unite, join hands, and march for Mama Africa. With her ancient historical background, her blessed land and beautiful people, religion and culture so sacred, it's unbelievable. We can't just sit and watch this repeated history happen anymore. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. I mean, come on, US, you just left Afghanistan. Do you want another war? My infinite hopes and prayers is for the US and the Biden administration to realize that there are parts of its foreign policy that are flawed. It breaks my heart tremendously to live in the country of the free, but yet still feel like a prisoner. It's an emotional burden of living in a country whose foreign policy is harming a country that I call home. This is a crucial time in African and Black history in general. Our forefathers defeated those that came with plans to colonize us in the past and worked towards establishing Pan-Africanism, becoming a beacon of hope for the Black race all over the world. Ethiopia is now calling on all Africans and descendants of Africans to rise up and demand that Ethiopia's sovereignty is respected. Ethiopia is boldly and courageously saying, no more. No more. No more to neo-colonization. No more. Ethiopia is saying no more to Western media's manipulation of the facts on the ground. No more. Ethiopia is saying no more to any form of exploitation. No more. Ethiopia is asking each and every one of us who believes in the democratic values of freedom, equality, and justice to join us in reclaiming and rewriting the narrative of our country and continent. The solutions to Ethiopia and Africa's problems aren't found in the Western intervention, but rather in the unity of the people on the continent and abroad. We, the youth of Ethiopia and Eritrea, within and in the diaspora, are active participants in the nation-building process, and we refuse to watch our country be invaded under the disguise of humanitarian intervention. For we have seen all the ways that this approach has failed countless times. So yes, we stand here and we, with our hearts bleeding, and we're crying out, no more. No more. No more lies. No more. No more. No more. No more manipulating the thoughts of the minority. No more. No more. No more psychology warfare. No more. No more. No more U.S. intervention warfare. No more. No more. No. Leave Africa's problem to the Africans. Hands off of Ethiopia. Hands off of Ethiopia. Hands off of Ethiopia. Hands off of Ethiopia. Hands off of Eritrea. Hands off of Eritrea. Hands off of Eritrea. Hands off of Eritrea. Hands off of Africa. Hands off of Africa. Hands off of Africa. Hands off of Africa. Ethiopia will prevail. Ethiopia will prevail. Ethiopia will prevail. Ethiopia will prevail. Eritrea will prevail. Eritrea will prevail. Eritrea will prevail. Eritrea will prevail. Africa 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 will prevail. So yes, we are standing here now asking for the Biden administration to correct their foreign policy and stop the sanctions on Ethiopia, Eritrea, and the Horn of Africa. Thank you guys so much, my Africans and African descendants. Let's unite and make history. One love, one respect, and peace.
Long live Ethiopia! Long live Eritrea! No more lies on Ethiopia! No more U.S. intervention in Africa! For months, every other day or every week, I hear in the media in this country something about Ethiopia. I hear a narrative that there is a strong-armed Ethiopian government that is suppressing a heroic Tigray rebels. But nothing could be further from the truth. The TPLF is not a group of freedom fighters standing up for their people suppressed by a government, as the CNN would have us believe. We see you, CNN! The TPLF was in government for nearly 3 decades. They're not some group of rebels. The New York Times and the other week ran an article titled, and I quote, "Mass detentions of civilians fan climate fear in Ethiopia." But in reality, it was the TPLF, which is well documented to have committed atrocities while it was in power. Why does the New York Times have this coverage? Why is it favorable to the TPLF, I ask you? The subtitle of the article reads, quote, "An ethnically motivated detention campaign largely targeting Ethiopians of Tigrayan descent threatens to further unravel Africa's second most populous country into a civil war." But who is really the aggressor here? Who really wants war? We today call for peace. We say no more. We say no more division. No more ethnic rivalries. No more pain and suffering. The TPLF, on the other hand, is calling for something else. That is war. And the mass media in the United States is complicit and promotes this message by creating this narrative. And here is from the Guardian newspaper. Quote, "The country has been scarred by violence on all sides, but there may be much more worse to come as Tigrayan civilians are targeted. But independent journalists on the ground have documented the opposite. They have documented that it's the TPLF who has historically targeted civilians. And furthermore, that the TPLF does not even represent all Tigrayan people." Recently, a rally of over 100,000 people, and I was talking to my friend earlier who said it's much more than 100,000 people, maybe 1 million protested in Ethiopia against war, calling for peace. This is what the people really want, not what CNN is saying in the TV. Oh, why is this narrative in the media, I ask you? Why? Why would the media spin such a uniform string of lies? Well, that's the thing about a narrative. It's a story. And in this case, a fictional story designed to sway public opinion in one direction, and that's against the Ethiopian government. It's the TPLF narrative that the media is promoting. And they are doing so because of the United States State Department is promoting that narrative. The Biden administration has not come out on the side of truth, and so the media spreads these lies. But why isn't the U.S. government promoting truth of what's going on in Ethiopia? Why? It's not that they're dumb. These people have had the best schooling this country has to offer. It's not that they're ignorant of the facts. All of these facts are well documented. Then it must be that they have chosen a side purposefully, with full knowledge of the sides and which to pick. We in the Answer Coalition are anti-imperialists. We have protested against every war our government for the past 2 decades has pushed. From Iraq to Afghanistan to Syria and Iran, we have protested against aggression towards Korea and in China. Look what the United States and NATO did to Libya. They have attempted to completely destroy this country. But what was Libya's crime? What is the Ethiopian government's crime, I ask you? What has
it done to the government of the United States? It's not particularly anti-US. Its only crime is to have attempted to unite its country across ethnic lines. Its only crime is to have attempted to bring peace and stability to the Horn of Africa. As anti-imperialists, we understand that even stability can be viewed as a threat to the United States imperialist government because this would diminish the control it could have in the region. Divide and ruin, sisters and brothers. Divide and ruin is the plan of U.S. imperialism. This is deeper than just the Biden administration. It's systemic. It's a pattern that each administration in the U.S. has taken when it comes to Africa. We must continue the movement to uncover the truth of what's going on in the Horn of Africa. We must deepen our solidarity with all countries facing the crisis of war fomented by the United States imperialist agenda. We must continue this movement, and if you're an anti-imperialist and want to organize with us, see us, let's get involved, let's build this movement, let's recruit more people from all the communities around Atlanta. Everybody stands behind Ethiopia. We are on your side, Ethiopians. We are on your side, Africans. We will never surrender. We must fight to bring peace to the country.
Aya ho ho yamanal bul. Aya ho ho yamanal bul. Aya ho ho natnasam. Aya ho ho natnasam. Yamanal balaw yamanal balaw. Aya ho ho yamanal bul. Yamanal balaw yamanal balaw. Aya ho ho yamanal bul. Oromo sinaka yamanal balaw. Aya ho ho yamanal bul. Amaro sinaka yamanal balaw. Aya ho ho yamanal bul. Beka belachum bibelacha. Aya ho ho yamanal bul. Agar nuron yekamunacha. Aya ho ho yamanal bul. Agiswal ambassaw ተቆጥቷል ነብሩ። Aya ho ho yamanal bul. ተደፍረውበታል ባንዲራና አገሩ። Aya ho ho yamanal bul. ተደፍረውበታል ባንዲራና አገሩ። Aya ho ho yamanal bul. የሚየሚን ልክ የነ ቴድሮስ Aya ho ho yamanal bul. የነ ንጉሥ ጦና የበላይ ዘለቀ Aya ho ho yamanal bul. የነ አብዲሳ አጋ የዘራይ ድረስን Aya ho ho yamanal bul. የወንዶችን አገር የናይበገረን Aya ho ho yamanal bul. አንሰዋ ሳነሷት ኢትዮጵያ ሀገሬ Aya ho ho yamanal bul. አንሰዋ ሳነሷት ኢትዮጵያ ሀገሬ Aya ho ho yamanal bul. ያመናል በለው ያመናል በለው ኦሮሞ ሲነካ ያመናል በለው አማራው ሲነካ ያመናል በለው ደቡቡ ሲነካ ያመናል በለው ጉራጌ ሲነካ ያመናል በለው ቤንሻንጉል ሲነካ ያመናል በለው ጋምቤላ ሲነካ ያመናል በለው ሶማሌ ሲነካ ያመናል በለው ያመናል በለው ያመናል
Long live Ethiopia! Long live Eritrea! Long live... CNN is a propaganda machine for imperialism. They're doing nothing but telling lies on Africa. And we must defend Africa. This fight is not just against the Horn of Africa. It's not just against Eritrea and Ethiopia and Somalia. It's against Africa. If anybody mess with Africa, if anybody invade Africa, we will fight them until they're dead. And they can pop up all of these imperialists, all of these neo-colonialists, and give them guns and bombs to fight Africa, but we will defeat them. Down with colonialism. Long live Africa. Long live Eritrea. Long live Ethiopia. Africa must unite. Africa must unite. Long live Pan-Africanism. And down with CNN lies. Down with the colonialism. So thank you very much. Long live Africa. Long live all freedom fighters in the world. So thank you. In the United States, you are a disgrace to humanity. and we will stop you. You invaded Africa, or imperialism invaded Ethiopia in 1935, and they got whooped. And now they will be whooped again. We would never bow down to colonialism. Ethiopia and Eritrea will never be colonized. Long live Africa! 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 Africa!
ቢሆን የተገፋው ደስ ያለው የተገፋው የደላውም የቸገረው